It came. It came. So here we are. It finally came. We are just gonna jump right into it. We'll start tearing the crate off. Cannot get this thing unboxed, in place, and hooked up fast enough. I actually have a couple projects right now. I'm gonna be able to use this, and it's gonna make things a lot easier. So really excited to get it open, see what it looks like. So let's do it. All right, guys, we're gonna give you a quick walkthrough and just kind of show you the machine real quick. We got Gray out here. He's representing today. Show him that shirt. Yeah. He's got his cowboy boots on, huh? All right. It's just like mine, huh? Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we'll do a walkthrough real quick. Take a look at this. So this was an add-on. This is just a touchscreen interface that controls the machine. You can get this machine with manual controls where there's a crank wheel that adjusts the back gauge and I don't know what else, but this makes things, in my opinion, a little bit easier because you just punch in what you need and then the back gauge will automatically move in and out to whatever you punch in here. You break it, and I'm assuming that you can tell it what angle you want within a certain range, whatever this machine is capable of. It's 48 inches wide. It is a 100-ton press brake. This is tons per foot, and then it tells you what size. So this will bend 1-inch plate, 10 inches wide, which requires 69 tons per foot. So if we go to something that we're a little more interested in, that we more commonly use, like half-inch plate. Half-inch plate requires 43 pounds per foot. You can do 24 inches wide of half-inch plate. That's pretty dang good. 3/8 plate, it'll do 3 feet wide. And then quarter, which is really common for us, 1/4-inch plate, it will do the full width of the dies, 48 inches. So that's pretty dang good. We did get the segmented punch and die set. So it'll do any width from, I believe it's from 2 inches up to 48 inches. One of the other things that I got was a CNC back gauge. And I think this is going to be a game changer. This will actually scoot out to the measurement that you input in the machine, and then you slide your plate in up against the back gauge and break it, and it's supposed to be right on. So this company was pretty dang good to deal with. Everything went pretty smooth. They told me they did have some refurbished back gauges that they would be willing to give me a good deal on, and they did. And I can see that there are a few scratches on this, but it seems like it's in pretty good condition for the most part. I don't see anything wrong with it. Hopefully it runs okay. So you can see there's the pump, the motor, hydraulic tank, everything's up under the machine. I really like how this has kind of a smaller footprint. I'm pretty impressed. This is just the type of thing that somebody with a shop this size like me needs. I was pretty excited when I finally found a company that offered this type of machine with these capabilities and this small footprint. So the next thing to do is we're going to go ahead and unbolt it off this crate, and then I'm going to set it in place. I'm going to set it underneath this crane right here, so I got some stuff I got to move. And then we'll set it in place, and we'll get ready to wire it in, and we'll give you guys a look when we get to that point. What am I hitting? Can you tell?
You're in this angle right here.
I don't like that. We're gonna change plans. Where's he at? Grab a clevis and a choker. Ready? I'm gonna shift it over just a hair. Am I up? Okay. That's probably good. Hey, now square it up again. Square it up with the line on the floor. Okay, hold it right there. Oh yeah, that's money. Where's he at? All right, guys, I had to run up to Home Depot to go grab some SO cord and a plug. I thought I had some on hand. For some reason, I thought I already bought a plug, but I'm sure I did. It's just in one of these drawers that I don't know where it's at, and I'll find it someday when I don't need it. So I've got the material I need now. This is the power box. So they include a cord grip. So you just come in the bottom with your SO cord and then hook it up to this switch right here. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now, and once we get it all hooked up and ready to fire up, we'll come back to you. All right, guys, we got the power all hooked up. I'm gonna turn the phase converter on. I'm gonna throw the switch on the disconnect, and then we should be able to turn the power switch on, and hopefully it lights up. So let's see what happens. It's always a little nerve-wracking when you throw the power on a brand new circuit. Okay, here we go, power on. Oh, she's loading. Position that Y1 axis must reach to obtain the required angle. Goodness. This is a little over my head here. I really don't know what I'm doing here. I'm gonna hit the button and see if the motor turns on. Now there's a potential that the motor for the pump could be wired in backwards. And if it is, I'll have to shut the power off and switch two legs to make the pump spin in the right direction. So I think the only way you find that out is you got to try it. So it looks pretty impressive. This plate is 2 inches thick. That's pretty crazy. The whole way down, top to bottom. And then these are the covers that go over the top of it. That's for switching these out. Okay. E-stop is out. We're gonna hit the button. This is quite complex. It does use one of those gooseneck dies, and they're pretty cool the way they work. You get better clearance braking parts, you can make tighter brakes. I'm gonna have to go through the manual because I really don't know what any of this is. I'm just hitting the different menus to see. Looks like you can put your tooling in, you can set programs. I'm gonna read the manual for a few minutes, maybe a couple hours, as long as it takes, and we'll come back to you. All right, guys, so after reading the manual, the motor was spinning backwards. I switched 2 legs, so let's see what it does now. So I'm gonna hit it. It does sound quite a bit different. We're gonna go manual, and I'm gonna go, oh yeah, she's moving. I'm not sure why it's, what the heck? It's doing all sorts of weird stuff. The back gauge is moving. I kind of want to see how far open it'll go. That's pretty good. That's 3 inches, I think. Okay. So, she runs. That's good. So, I'm going to grab a piece of plate and I'm going to continue to read the manual. And once I get to the point where I feel like I'm brave enough to try it, we'll come back. All right, guys, so we're over here at the press brake, and I thought you guys might like to see some of this. So since I've got some of this figured out, and I say some of this, not all of it. So this is an S625 ESA PLC, and it is specific to CNC press brakes. There are multiple companies that use this PLC as the driver for their CNC press brakes. This is not the program or the PLC that I thought I was going to be getting when I ordered the CNC press brake. It looks different in some of their videos, but the good news is this PLC, this program, the way that they've got this set up and the fact that they use this PLC, it's way more, it is more complicated to run, but it's also more capable. So once you learn all the little tricks, it's amazing how capable this machine is. So I just want to show you guys a few things. So I'm going to make a semi-automatic bend. So I'm going to input the angle I want to bend and the size of the part. I'm going to put in the measurement for the back gauge. So the back gauge will automatically come forward. I'll slide my part in against the back gauge and it will break it to the measurement that I need. So the things that you have to put in for that are your angle. So this is your angle, and if you hit that, if you go to edit mode, and then you hit that, you'll punch in your angle. We want to go 90 degrees. You put in your material thickness. There's another page here. You can change, this is really cool, you can change the offset. So I've told you guys before that you have to deduct the thickness of your material when you brake, typically, depending on where you're pulling your measurement from, because it grows, or by the time it bends it, it adds the thickness of the material. This, you could actually change the measurement from, if I put this to 0, then it will make my measurement an OD measurement. If I put it on 2, it'll make it an ID measurement. 1 is basically if you calculate your bend growth when you build it on like a drafting program or 3D modeling program, you can just default it to 1 and not do either, and then just bend it the way that you have designed the part. This here is your material width. So I put in my 48 inches because the part we're going to break is 48 inches wide. It tells you that that requires 55.8 tons of force. There's a bunch of other settings here. Top dead center, that will stop the ram after you bend the first bend. Instead of going all the way back up and then having to come all the way back down, I put it in 1.5 inches so that it goes up 1.5 inches and stops, just to save time. And I'm still learning, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. You input your material thickness here. We're using 10 gauge, so that's 130 thousandths, so we put that in there. We've selected our punch and our die. We will have some more of that tooling to input into our PLC once we get those new tools for this machine. You can adjust, you can tweak your angle here. I'm going +1 degree, which will actually leave it a degree under. but that's just as a test bend because I want to see how close I can get to an actual 90-degree bend right on the money. So that's what we've put in. Now we're ready to execute the bend. All right, so I've got my part here. So now I should be able to start the pump on the machine, hit this green button, and then you'll see the back gauge move into position. So the back gauge should move into position at 2.5 inches. I just want to check something here. So I'll go ahead, before I start the pump, I'm gonna hit the green button here. So you can hear the back gauge moving. Okay, so it moves to 2.5 inches. So now if I put my part in here, push it against the back gauges, so that'll give me my 2.5 inches. Now, this is the first time I've done a full 48-inch wide piece, so I'm interested to see how it does. Okay, so now I'm gonna start the pump, and I'll hit the pedal. When I hit the pedal, it's just gonna do its thing. All I have to do is hit the pedal and keep my foot on the pedal, and it'll bend down to where it needs to, and then it will go up on its own once it bends to 90 degrees. Here we go. Okay, so we're up against our back gauge here. I want to make sure that I'm in my dies on both sides, so I'm right to the edge. Here we go. Okay, so I can see it's a little bit out, but I did want it to stay a little bit out of 90 just because I wasn't sure how it was going to bend this. So I'm going to correct that. I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to run this one more time and see if I hit 90 degrees. I am going to grab a square so I can check it. Okay, here we go. Ooh. All right, so -2 degrees is money. Perfect. Okay, so get a nice crisp bend, 90 degrees. It does a very good job. Nice tight corner. Like I said, this set of punch and dies is only rated for up to 10 gauge. So I do have the tooling coming that has a 4-sided die, and then it doesn't have the gooseneck punch. It's the type I'm used to. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a look now that I'm starting to figure this out and I'm starting to see what the capabilities are with this machine. I'm pretty impressed. If I do get a job where I have to do like high volume production where I've got to build like 100 parts of the same one, I can put it in automatic mode, hit the pedal, and it will just continue to run. And I just put it in, make my brake, flip it, make my other brake, and then I can set the pause, the delay. It's just pretty amazing. So I think it's going to be a pretty sweet addition to the shop. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it, stuff like this. And you guys know, if you watched my video on making my TIG rod rack, this is kind of the same concept, but this is for tint. This is for the same detail company as the sign. If you watch that video, you know I had to burn that in 3 different parts and weld it all together. This is going to save me a lot of time because I either don't have to weld anything on it now, or I am going to weld a little corner gusset on this just to keep it from moving, because I don't know how heavy the tin is, but it's overkill and I'm just that type of guy. So I hope you guys learned something from that. I'm continually learning on this machine. I'm enjoying learning how to use it. This is pretty much the same PLC that runs a lot of huge, like massive, high production CNC press brakes. So you're learning the functionality of how the PLCs work on, you know, like a big time CNC press brake. So it's just another skill, another arrow in your quiver. Remember, always be looking to better yourself. Well, I'm gonna get these over on the table, see if I can get these finished up. Just wanted to show you guys that. Hope you guys learned something from it. I know I did. Ho ho ho! Freedom Fab Nation. I feel dumb calling it nation. Probably more like city. Yeah, that's pushing it. Town? I'd say it's more like a campground. Freedom Fab Campground. Welcome back. I'm sorry it's been a few weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've uploaded a video. Hopefully you can hear me over the compressor and the burn table. But I did want to give you a quick update on what we've been doing. We've been slammed in the shop, which is good. We're staying busy. But I do want to give you an update on what we've been up to. Part of the reason I haven't uploaded a video is I've been out of town. I've also been doing some projects that I've already done a video on, so I didn't want to do a repetitive video. So I'll just show you real quick what we've been up to. The gooseneck trailer is back in the shop. You haters, before you get all excited, it's back in the shop because they want more work done, not because I was correcting work that I've already done. Sorry. So here's what we've been working on. Mike and Lori that own the trailer, you guys recognize the trailer. It's got the cranes on front. We did all the work to it for the Connex box. They watched the video on the sawhorses and they wanted a set built so that they could set their Connex boxes on it. So we got a set of those built. Those are complete. Bridger helped me on those and did a really good job. And then these ramps were trashed. Whoever had the trailer before, they drove a forklift on it or something, some type of equipment that was way too heavy for the ramps or the trailer, crushed these middle ones, bent the crap out of these outside ones. So I had to heat up and repair these. I was able to fix those. These are brand new. And part of the cool thing with that is I was able to use the new brake and it worked fantastic. I'm starting to get it figured out. I've been on the phone with Iroquois a couple times. They've walked me through a few things. They've been really good to help me out and it's been good. So I'll show you some things on that, but I am gonna flip one of these up and I wanna show you what the underside looks like. Okay, so here's the ramps. Every one of these pieces of angle had to be cut off and scarfed off. Customer did a little bit of that work before he got here and I had to go back through and continue to clean up what was left of the weld there and get it all prepped up for the new ones. You can see we've got the new angle all welded out. Turned out pretty good. I also boxed in every one of these supports right here, so that's going to give it a lot of added strength. And it's 1/4 inch material. It is not 10 gauge, which is what comes from the factory. So those turned out good. So now I want to show you real quick. So this is a piece that I cut out on the CNC burn table. This was a practice run for the pieces on the trailer. And I want you to pay attention. Look at how tight that press is able to bend those. I was extremely impressed by that. So you can see it's really accurate. I can adjust the machine to where it's in just a couple of thou within 90 degrees. So it's extremely accurate. I did just order some more tooling for it. That's part of the problem when you order a machine, it just leads to spending more money. So the machine's great, I love it, but the punch and dies that came with it are only good for up to 10 gauge. As you guys know, I do a lot of work on heavier material, so I ordered the punch and dies that would allow me to work on the heavier material. So when that shows up, I'll give you guys a look at that. But I did want to show you what the machine is capable of and that I am starting to get it figured out. It's really cool. I've got some other stuff coming up. I got a fishing boat coming up that I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to have to bend some aluminum brackets for that. There's some settings you have to change for that, but it's going to come in handy there as well. So just wanted to give you guys an update. We're also burning a sign for a detailing company in Salt Lake City, and I missed. Let's give you guys a look. I apologize for not getting a video out, but you can see we've just been slammed, and I did want to give you an update so that you can kind of see what we've had going. And I don't want to give you guys content that you've already seen. So part of the reason that I didn't do a video on the trailer ramps is because I was just in a situation where I had to buckle down and get it done, and I had to hurry, because when I start getting buried in the shop, the priority has to be to dig myself out. So that's why I didn't video it, because when you add the stress of videoing and editing and all that stuff on top of already being buried with work, sometimes it gets to be too much. And if I feel like I need to just throttle back a little bit and just get the work done and not do a video, then sometimes that's what I have to do. I hope you guys understand that. That's your update. That's what we've been up to here at Freedom Fab Campground. So appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the little update. Stay tuned for another video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next one.